Barbados, get up.
Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Morning to you.
Morning, Barbados. Good to have you with us on this Wednesday. It is the 13th of November. That means Happy Independence, Barbados. It's the month of our independence, and I know how we love to celebrate. Of course, the conversation is still running whether we should be doing Christmas in November. It happens every year. And some people say, let November 30th pass first. There are other people who say, bring on the Christmas. I think this year people are kind of more open to bring on the Christmas. Here at CBC, we kind of ease into it. We give you some local Christmas songs to get you ready for the season. So you can look forward to some Christmas stuff here on Morning Barbados pretty soon. We also will be celebrating, as we always do, talking about the big celebrations that are happening all this November, like Barbados celebrating this year the centenary of the late Shirley Chisholm. We started telling you about it earlier this week. We mentioned it as a part of the lighting ceremony that came live here on TV8 as well. And now we have Erica Hinkson back with us. She, of course, is the lead person in the Celebrating Shirley 100 Years project. So she's brought along Rihanna Smith, who is assistant coordinator with the Barbados National Register of Historic Places. So good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Tisha.
Good morning, and it's good to say welcome back.
Thank you.
Now,
Always
last time you were here, you shared some really great facts and interesting things with me about Shirley Chisholm, and I went on to do my own little research as well. As you open that, kind of pique that interest and you want to find out a little bit more. And in much the same vein, last time Rihanna was here, she shared a lot with me about what the Barbados National Register of Historic Places gets up to on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even aware that they existed. So it's wonderful to have you back. But the Division of Culture is embarking on this Shirley Chisholm project. If there's anyone who's just tuning in, Erica, bring them up to scratch.
Yes, so the Division of Culture thought that this was a very important project. It falls under the national mandate to really get out information in terms of education, inspiring and celebrating our own. So trailblazers, born and raised here in Barbados, who've gone on to do incredible things across the globe. And this year, Shirley Chisholm is being honored because her birthday actually falls on November 30th. She would have been 100 years, so that coincides perfectly with our independence. She grew up right here in Vauxhall. The school was renamed in Vauxhall, the Shirley Chisholm Primary School. And of course, she was the first Black woman in Congress in the United States, first Black woman to run for president. So today we're just going to chat a bit about the remaining initiatives, and Rihanna has a lot to share as well on some exciting community engagement we'll be doing with the primary schools.
All right, good stuff. Go right ahead, Rihanna.
Yes, yesterday we started. On November 12th, we took the students of the Shirley Chisholm Primary School out on a tour. The tour was designed and guided by local historian Claudette Levi Farnham, who wanted to focus in on the aim of highlighting the places of significance that existed when Shirley visited between 1928 and 1934. And so we took them on a tour to the area where we believe is the spot of her maternal grandmother's home. And then we made our way around the areas of where Wotton Plantation would have been, where Kingston Plantation would have been. And then we took a visit to the Christchurch Parish Church and to the graveyard there. And then we made our way back to Newton Burial Ground and Adams Castle. It was great. The children enjoyed it. They especially enjoyed the Chase Vault when they visited Christchurch Parish Church. And they also really appreciated the observation of reading the graveyard and seeing, how you could tell which class is buried where, and, having that peek into our heritage.
That's a really great initiative for the children to know exactly after whom their school is named and for what purpose. I think takes things a whole lot deeper than just, a superficial, this is a renaming.
Yes.
So that they understand and can in turn share. I understand there's an arts initiative for the primary schools as well.
Yes, a very exciting arts competition. So we wanted the children to not only, be educated in terms of presentations and talking to the children about Shirley. That's a huge initiative. Some visits that we'll get into as well that we're doing with the primary schools along with the tours. But the art competition now, we've asked primary schools across Barbados, open to all of them, to submit art. So that would be drawings and paintings, anything featuring Shirley. We were looking at the importance of education in nation building, looking at themes like education, equality, and all that Shirley really stood for. Of course, persons can submit in JPEG or in PDF format. And we really want the art teachers to get involved and the principals, the schools, because we are giving prizes to not only the student, but also prizes to the art teacher and to the school.
That's always wonderful. That the school also benefits when the young ones get involved. That's always added incentive as we reflect on the work that you do at the Register of Historic Places and that very monumental tour that you took with the young ones. Talk to us about the journey of discovery for you and your team in terms of the research, because a lot of the times we don't necessarily think that research and development in this area could be ongoing. We feel sometimes like, oh, we know all there is to know about back then. But the good thing about historical context is you continue to build as time goes on. So yesterday was history, as is just a minute ago. And this is something that you really have to keep up to scratch on.
Yes, it's true. And as it concerns the research of that specific site, in July we carried out our official assessment, as the Barbados National Register of Historic Places. And so a team of us, we went to the site, we measured the property, and, as the months went on, we interviewed persons within the community, collected their oral stories. We spoke to the principal of the school as well as the social studies teacher, Miss Donna Franklin and Mr. Ian Marshall, who themselves, they did some research on the site as well. And so when it was time to do the tour, we felt confident that, we had enough information. With our process, we conduct the information, collect the stories, and then we fill out the nomination form. And then that goes to the technical review committee, who would assess it and determine whether or not it should be on the National Register. And then from then, we move into public education efforts and creating signage and so on.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What aspects of the tour were shared specifically with the children yesterday? And I know we talked about the venues, but what types of stories came in between the moving from one place to the other?
Well, from the get-go, Claudette invited the students to look through the windows of history. So we moved from Vauxhall, and she was saying to imagine Kane. Imagine that everything, every house, every building, Sheraton Mall is Kane, So we told them a bit about, what development, how developed the space would have been at that point in time, what type of work they were doing, where the majority of the persons within the neighborhood would have worked, Wharton Plantation, Kingston Plantation, Adams Castle had the most workers from Vauxhall. And then we, spoke a bit more about the times, where she would have went to school, the fact that the vestry was in charge of education at that point in time, to, sensitize them a bit more about what the governmental system looked like. And then when we made our way to the graveyard, we told them about the Chase Vault, and we told them more about just the significance of the church and the role that it played in society, and what the graveyard represents, what it tells us as it is. And then we went to Newton Burial Ground because someone wanted to see a cart road, and we made our way back.
Really interesting. So it was an engaging type
very
interactive
engaging,
tour.
very interactive.
So if a little person wanted to see a cart road, they were able to say, let's I love that.
Yeah.
And just even thinking about the level of development or lack thereof that would have been happening at that point in time, I can just imagine. You know, I was kind of going through it. I saw you listening with intent as well, Erica.
Yes, I was, because I am definitely going to join one of those tours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta find a day out from work and hop on, because they're actually, just to give you some of the schools we'll be going to, we are heading over to the Christchurch Girls Primary, Grantley Prescott Primary, St. Matthew's Primary, St. Silas Primary, and St. Giles. They'll all be getting heritage tours. And that we're squeezing a lot up to the November 30th. And then we're also doing some visits, so some educating at St. Mary's, Grisette's, and Wesley Hall Junior Schools.
Oh, that's beautiful to be able to engage with the little ones, though, Rihanna. Might be a little different from your average tours.
Yes.
And I would imagine you had to shape it for these little minds.
Yes, we did, but it was not as difficult as one may think. The children were very intelligent. They understood a lot of what the terms that we use meant. They understood that slavery happened. They understood that Barbados was different in the past. And so they were easy to inform.
Yeah, I think sometimes the challenge is not to keep them informed, is to keep them engaged.
Yes, yes. And surprisingly enough, you know, when we first designed the tour, we were like, okay, but we're taking them to go and look at a graveyard and, you know, imagine bush. But they were actually not bored at all. They were very engaged, had a lot of questions. We got back late, you know, because they had so much to share, so much to ask about.
All right, so Erica, let's run down this calendar. That you are, you know, squeezing so many things in, like you said, right up until Shirley's birthday, which would have been Independence Day. So she was an Independence baby. Just so many things all line up with her. So interesting.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, yesterday we would have kicked off the media launch and the heritage tours. Yesterday as well, the primary school art competition was officially announced. I have a few more details to give on that because I want to make sure everybody gets in. You can also submit to Honor Chisholm at nls.gov.bb. We just need the name of the student, name of the school. And we have the number here again for John Downs at the National Library Service, because that's who we partnered with. We had the National Library on Monday, so 535-2900 or 535-2911. Remember to get in those themes: equality, character building, education, and we're actually having you submit those entries, the primary school students, by Saturday, November 30th. So that is on Independence Republic Day. And we're jumping right on into community pop-ups. So you have to listen out for the exact locations as they come up on the Instagram, you know, celebrating Shirley 100. And we have Culture Barbados, follow along on those. We have a genealogy market that the Archives Department is putting on November 23rd. I've heard that is huge, and I'm going to attend for the first time this year. So we're hopping on that in terms of looking at Shirley Chisholm exhibitions, workshops, food stalls, games, activities, and her family will be on board, doing the family mapping with us and really engaging with the public. An entire beautiful exhibition will be there. And then we are moving on into the November 30th parade, where we'll actually be as well. And if you come to our various pop-ups and events, there are certainly giveaways, prizes, memorabilia featuring Shirley, and some beautiful presentations. You don't want to miss it.
Oh, that's beautiful. And finally for you, Rihanna, I know that you get to explore a lot of these historic places, but just looking into who Shirley Chisholm was and putting this all together as a department must feel really rewarding for the entire team.
Yes, it does feel very rewarding, very rewarding.
All right, I want to thank you both for coming in.
Thank you so much for having
Thank
us.
you.
It's wonderful to see you. Of course, this morning we were talking all about the Shirley Chisholm project. We are celebrating her in this island. She would have been 100 years on November 30th, and everywhere she went, to whomever she could talk to, in front of the biggest cameras and in the most exposed spaces, she talked about how Barbados influenced her as a young girl growing up here, spending some time with her maternal grandmother, and how that shaped the woman that she became. All right, time for a break, our first break on today's presentation. So do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So it's just about 23 minutes now after 6 o'clock. Wonderful to have you with us. We were kind of cut short yesterday for those people who reached out and sent us emails and so on. For some reason, lost power in this part of the island. I've still not been able to figure out exactly why, but it threw everything completely off. Usually we're connected to a backup system, did not kick in immediately. So that is why you lost us early yesterday for those people who've been asking. But if you want to catch up on the rest of it, in terms of the young people whom were here for pontifications and poetry, the winners of that competition, we're going to share that with you a little bit later in the week. We continue the interview even after 8 o'clock, so we'll get an opportunity to share that with you. We didn't let them just walk away. I know that the parents and schools and all of the administrators will be looking on to find out exactly what happened. So now we're talking about something that has a very provocative title, pretty interesting, especially given some interesting things that have happened of late. Joining us this morning is Dr. Catherine Trotman, who's a lecturer in psychology in the Psychology Department of Government, Sociology, Social Work and Psychology at UWI Cave Hill campus. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Wonderful to have you here with us, along with Dr. Warren Clark, who's Assistant Professor, Cultural Anthropology, University of Manitoba.
Thank you, good morning.
All right. He says he's a recent citizen. I don't know if we need to qualify that or if I'm exposing your business, but that's what we do as Bajans. I'm sure you're learning quite quickly. We ask a lot of questions as well. So you're here to talk about the Barbershop Talk series.
Yes.
And it's a conference of sorts under the theme addressing mental health concerns among Black men and boys. And it's happening in just a matter of days.
Yes.
So there's a lot to unpack there. So let's start at the very beginning in terms of your interest in this particular area.
Yeah, so my work as a cultural anthropologist focuses on Black masculinities, neoliberalism, gentrification, anti-colonialism, decolonization, broadly speaking. But my work specifically looks at how do we think through black men when it comes to their social engagement, employment engagement, even educational engagement. And one of the things that keeps coming up in the research that I've done, even recent, is that there's these tensions between how black young men assert themselves in society and how they're received. And then based on those tensions at times, it does cause barriers in ways in which how they see themselves as human, or even how they enter spaces and how they feel accepted and a sense of belonging. So particularly with this project, what we've done since 2018, which was an accident, a beautiful accident as I like to call it, was when I went to go get my haircut one afternoon. I had dreads, believe it or not. And I didn't even cut my hair that day because I got in a beautiful conversation with a young black male in Canada, where we started the conversation about who's the better basketball player, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. And I'm born in '81, so I went with Michael Jordan, obviously. And the young fellow, maybe older now because it was some time ago, he was challenging me on his ideas of who's better, and he obviously picked LeBron James. But the conversation then directed into sexual health, which I was able to then have a further conversation with other young men who are near him, which doesn't tend to happen in spaces with young men. I've been doing community projects with young people, black youth in Canada for some time, and one of the things that I've noticed is that there's always been a 3-to-1 ratio between black young men and black young women, where there's been a higher ratio of young women showing up to these programs. But the young men who we really want to target, they usually don't show up. So I thought about it. I was like, well, it'd be interesting if we were to host a project in a barbershop. And to our surprise, we had, we anticipated 10 people showing up. We had 40 people show up in the first event. Where for the last, since 2018, we've been able to go across Canada. I was invited to Barbados, by Nature, who is owner of Air Force One here in Barbados. We ran our first barbershop talk here in 2021. And then we followed up this year, and we did an amazing job here at Gun Hill, and we had about 200 people show up. We were giving free haircuts, but most importantly, we had the conversation about mental health. And how do we have a conversation about it where we can be vulnerable, we can learn, but most importantly, start thinking through and at a starting point to appreciate the mental health, which is and should not be homogenized among young men.
All right, we take a little breath there. Yeah. That's a lot to kind of pack into an opening statement, but I can see why it has to be heavy to be able to share where it started and why you are where you are. And I'd like for you now to come in, Dr. Trotman, to talk a little bit about how the mental health side of things come in, because I heard when you talked about the fact that young black men are often seen differently in the way that they assert themselves in society, and sometimes that too can be misconstrued as mental challenges. We've seen that as well. So where does mental health come into play in the entire discussion about young black men?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. And it can be difficult to pick apart what is a behavioral challenge and what is a mental health challenge. But the main issue with conferences like this and with events like this is even just getting people to come out in the first place. So before we can start picking that sort of things apart, we have to get people to come. And what Dr. Clark has done, what Warren has done, is really create a space where people feel comfortable. They're comfortable coming out and they're comfortable talking. Once we get people talking, then of course we can start figuring out what's going on. Do you just need a sense of community? Do you just need to feel like you belong to something? Or do maybe you need further support? What we do know when it comes to, you're talking about acting out and behavioral issues, what we do know is that early childhood trauma causes acting out behaviors. So we tend to have these teenagers, these young people, men and women, males and females, who are acting out in really difficult to manage ways for parents and for guardians. So you were talking about sexual health, early sexual activity, what can be seen as dangerous sexual activity, getting involved in guns, violence, gangs, trouble in school, fights. But there's something underneath it. And I think that's something we always need to remember, that kids aren't behaving badly, young people aren't behaving badly just because they woke up one morning and said, I'm going to behave badly. That's not what's happening. There's a deeper issue going on. And so events like this help us reach people in the first place, because that is the biggest issue we have. Obviously, Barbados is resource scarce. So we don't have enough psychologists, we don't have enough psychiatrists, we don't have enough community mental health workers in general, and up at UE, we are trying to train as many as we can to the best of our ability. But if we can't reach people in the first place, we'll have empty clinics.
Absolutely, and I see that so often.
Yeah.
So many young people come here with fancy titles, and they're ambassador this or advisor that, and I always ask them, whether on camera or off, do you feel you're speaking for the children, the youth, the young people on the fringes? I think that's really, really important, because a lot of us are reluctant to put these young people who are seemingly labeled as troubled, or who are seemingly bad behaved, as we like to say in this part of the world, as spokespeople, to be able to share their views. With that said, what are some of the ways that you are going to use this series to be able to unpack all of what we talked about, the mental health challenges, the early problems that feed into who they are? A lot of people talk about things like toxic masculinity and things of how they assert themselves in society. Talk to us about how the series will tackle each of these, this particular series.
Yeah, I think let's like just harken back on in terms of what you said about toxic masculinity. I think what we have to recognize respectfully is that when we talk about black men, the general concept of masculinity belongs to white men. We have to think through, when we talk about black men, what does that mean to be black and male? As much as I have the title of doctor, when I present myself outside the university, the world outside the university doesn't see me as Dr. Clark. They see me as a black male with these stereotypical notions of what it means to be black. Hypersexual or thug or gangster or whatever these negative stereotypes that associate with black maleness. But with the barbershop particularly, one of the things that we do is the haircuts. The haircuts allows the young people to be vulnerable, all right? And when you're going to get your haircut from your regular barber that's going to cut your hair, give you that fresh fade, your shoulders drop, and you start to engage in conversation with the barbers. And that's one of the things that we've done very strategically, and we'll do this Saturday, is by providing these free haircuts to the community, particularly young men and boys, in which we can start that conversation.
Dr. Trotman, how important is that? How important is it to be in a situation, whether on a regular basis or from time to time, where, as he describes it, your shoulders drop, you're able to take your guard down, you're able to kind of relax and feel at home? So
important. We talk about stress and how stress kills. And if you are someone who is seen as constantly being a threat, constantly being trouble, you've constantly got your guard up, right? And so your cortisol levels are increased, all your stress hormones are constantly increased. It can cause heart disease, high blood pressure, all sorts of things, but also emotionally, if you are in an atmosphere of constantly feeling frightened or constantly feeling like you're going to be attacked, that's terrifying. You're not going to be able to perform at your best. So having an atmosphere where we are hopefully going to have people be able to let their guards down, it'll give people an opportunity to talk. You talked a little bit about toxic masculinity, and I agree with Dr. Clark that one of the problems we have in the Caribbean in general is that we tend to take theories from other countries, other Western white countries, and try to apply them here. But we have our own particular, beautiful, really varied, nuanced culture in Barbados. And if we take psychological therapies from other countries and try to apply them here, sometimes it's not acceptable to us. And so we have to figure out with our research, with the work that we do, what works for Barbadians.
All right, so we're going to explore that and a whole lot more in a short space of time when we come back from this break, because we often hear about the similarities with Black Americans and Caribbean people, but there are also some stark differences.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to be able to kind of develop this in our space is of equal importance to ensure that it is truly successful.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that and give you the details of how you can be a part of the series after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, welcome back. Doctors Warren Clark and Catherine Trotman are still with us, sharing about the upcoming Barbershop Talk series, which will be hosted in a matter of days. So let's kind of get into exactly what we can expect and how people can participate.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So it's a full day event. This starts with an academic conference where we're going to end community activist conference. That's the important part, because we don't want to make it just about academics. We want to ensure that people have and doing the good work for the community, particularly with the young men who are on the island. It's important to highlight their work and their ideas and their strategies to this conference. So it'll start at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. We have the keynote address by His Excellency Honorable Glenn Clark, the High Commissioner to Canada from Barbados. And then we will move into the academic conference. We have about 25 conference presentations that will be happening in person and online. So we have presentations coming across the world. So we're very humbled for these presenters to share their work and their research. And then we will move into the evening part where we'll do the follow-up to the Barbershop Talk series event, very similar to what took place on August 18th of this year. That will involve haircuts, as I mentioned, for free. The conversation will be guided by 4 or 5 questions, which stretch out to the entire evening. And we also have free beverages and refreshments for the audience who come. So it's a free event, so no one has to pay anything. Yep. And the most important thing, it's for location, it's at University of the West Indies and on the Cave Hill campus.
How do we move to attract the people that we want really to be there to not only listen to these presentations, but I would imagine based on the structure, how it will be presented, there will be an opportunity for feedback as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's open discussion, of course. We're doing a lot of marketing. So this session today, but also radio marketing. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We're doing as much as is possible to try and reach different demographics. Hoping that people don't feel stressed out by the university location. And it's important to remember that the morning, even though it is a bit of a conference, it's really small bite-sized chunks of information. Most thing that I'm excited about is that some of our younger students, males and females, are getting the chance to present their research, which is something that doesn't happen very often. So really excited about that. Some of our young
And
people.
it's being presented in a hybrid format. So you said some presenters will be there, some will not. Is that also open to those people who will be participating?
Yes, 100%. So the hybrid model we're using on Zoom is open for those who are not on the island or can't attend and on the island. So you can access Zoom. I just want to add value, and I appreciate what Dr. Trump was mentioning. We're also using the barbershop. So Air Force One, as I mentioned, the Village Barbershop, Level Up Barbershop, Ace of Fades Barbershop. So we're really doing a lot of outreach in those barbershops to get those young men who visit those barbershops ready to access the space. And strategically, what we're doing is we have those barbers from those barbershops going to be cutting here from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. So we're going to get a wave of people entering the UA space.
All right. For those people who are looking on and would not only love to participate, but feel like they have something to offer by way of these community activists. And activist is a relatively new word to us. Let me qualify that. We've had community practitioners through the years, people who can mobilize our communities, but we've never really associated activism with this type of work that is done. So how can they kind of pour into all that you're doing?
They can contact us. Just there's a website to sign up. We'll give you all of that information as well. They can contact us on Instagram. They can contact us on Twitter. Or they can contact us on the day. Any way.
Yeah,
that they
is
can
signing
reach out
up
to us.
No,
mandatory?
that's one thing we don't want to encourage. We want to ensure that those who want to participate, that they're not pressured to sign up and then feel that they have to face a barrier to then enter the space. We want to make sure it's easy and it's accessible to folks. Just like Dr. Chapman mentioned, just really quickly, is the university is a barrier to many folks in the community, and we want to ensure that it's open and it's accessible to everyone on the island.
How are you making sure that you're going to make it relevant to our neck of the woods? Because relevance, the way that people are able to kind of ingest this information in their space is going to be of equal importance.
Well, I think that's the reason that University of Manitoba is partnering with UWI. Is the reason that a lot of our presenters are younger people as well. It's a lot of reason that we are bringing in community activism. It's the reason that we have all of these barbers coming in who, again, are young men who do the work in the community. So we're not swooping in and saying, listen to us, we're the experts. We're giving people a platform to come and talk about the work that they are already doing in the community.
And what are we hoping for as an outcome?
To keep the conversation going, not necessarily hosting the barbershop talk, to keep that conversation going. I think it's important that when we focus on these types of social events that are so meaningful to a lot of people, 2 hours isn't enough. The one thing we want to try to encourage people and to motivate people to think through critically and how we can continue having conversations of humanizing people, particularly these young men. Where they enter spaces of being felt as they're being dehumanized. So we want to encourage that and also encourage people to accept people's vulnerability. So those are two things I'll add.
Wonderful stuff. It happens on the 16th of November at the University of the West Indies. Just get online. You'll be able to find them. Black Boys and Men, Misconceptions and Mental Health, looking at the man in the mirror. It's happening right here in Barbados, and free haircuts. Not for all, because it won't be us, but for the ones who definitely need some. We definitely would love to continue this conversation, and I look forward to hearing about the participation and the outcome. So thank both of you for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you sign up. I know we all know a nephew, a cousin, a next door neighbor, some young man who looks up to you, or they pass by and they have questions. Maybe you should go with them as well and make sure the conversation is not only for youth, it has to be intergenerational. All right, time for another break, but stick around because we have lots more coming.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Back on this Wednesday morning, it's the middle of the week. A former host of Morning Barbados would have said it's hump day. I never figured that one out. I guess it's the hump you have to get over in the middle of the week, I suppose. But I don't know. I don't think there's any day in the week that feels like a big hump for me. Like Friday. Friday is that day that you're like, oh, push through. It's the weekend. You get a little break for recharge, but I know that will be up to you as well. Happy to have the parish ambassadors in with us this morning. This morning we venture to St. Joseph. So good morning to the crew who have joined us now from St. Joseph, starting with Margot Griffith, who's Public Relations Officer with the committee since 2018. Good morning, Margot.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us, Miss Margot. Also here is Damon Leacock.
Yes, good morning.
Parish Ambassador for 2024. And Jade Paris.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
You guys must be incredibly proud to be Parish Ambassadors for your native St. Joseph for this year. Tell me about what piqued your interest, Damon, in the competition, first of all.
Okay, what piqued my interest was getting to know about the parish more. Also helping myself to develop more in skills that I would tell myself if I didn't have or I can produce for myself. And also getting to talk to people in my community. So I would say that's it.
What's the best thing about moving around the community, Jade? I guess meeting people, and I know you guys have been continuing on with your community project from before because there's no new one for 2024. So what's been the best thing about being able to kind of move around and share with your St. Joseph community?
I think I'm just going to echo what you said, just to get to know the Josephines, fostering long-lasting relationships with them. I know the children, I have a soft spot for the children in St. Joseph. And just learning about the culture of St. Joseph, because you normally grow up in one area, but then you have to venture outside of your natural environment, and then you get to hear different stories and get to talk about things that you probably would never have known before. And so just the knowledge, the skills that you will gain from persons, the friendships, as I said before, that's what.
That's beautiful stuff. For you, Miss Margot, talk to us about the community projects that you have been carrying on for 2024 as initiatives of the committee.
For this year, we have been doing Give Back to the Community, where we want to recognize those elderly persons who would have given so much during their lifetime. So we presented them with nice baskets, and just to let them know that they have not been forgotten. We still love them, we care about them. We also visited persons who may have needed a little help. And, you know, we talked to them and wouldn't say what else we did for them, but it was great. It was great.
Yeah, how do you feel about the fact that you're able to kind of extend the way that you've engaged with the community from 2023 into 2024 instead of having to start another project?
I think it was a fantastic idea by the Community Independence Celebration Secretariat. And it gave you more time. And then the projects that we would have started, say for example from 2019, we still continue those. That's a feeding program we have 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. We also have a breakfast program every morning at one of our primary schools, and we have a reading club as well. So it gave us more time to do things that we really wanted to have done in the community.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. I heard you mention, Jade, the culture, the unique culture, the unique things about St. Joseph. But I want you to get a little more specific on the ways that you think St. Joseph is different, maybe, from many of the other parishes in Barbados.
Not to brag about my parish, but I think the
but to brag, not to brag.
To brag. The atmosphere in St. Joseph is just different. When you enter our parish, you just get a sense of calmness. It's a very peaceful area. The people are extremely friendly. Even the people by the beach, you know, you would just have random conversations with strangers and it would be like you've known them for your entire life. I think one of the things unique about our parish for me that I have a soft spot for is just the history about our train tracks that you can still see behind the Atlantis Hotel. I think that's one of the things that always interests me, and I always encourage persons to get to know a little bit more about. Also about, you know, our Joseph Gorge, what we once had in St. Joseph in terms of our Anglican rectory, in terms of our hotel. So, you know, the culture is a little different. Our experiences are a little different. And it's always a good thing when you can get to interact with persons and learn more things that you wouldn't have known before.
What say you, Damon? What sets St. Joseph apart?
I would say that everyone in the community is like a family to us.
Yeah.
So when we go out, you get this sense of love and unity. So I would say that, as Jade said as well, that the atmosphere is different. Cool breeze, sunlight hitting on you. So like, it's a good place to live.
Mm-hmm. So you feel that that song, Cool Breezing, was written in St. Joseph?
I would say so for sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's just me being bad. What was your most memorable thing about moving around the parish? You've done a number of things. I mean, Miss Margot listed off a whole lot of stuff. I know you talked about loving to engage with the younger ones.
Yes.
And you talked about just getting to know different places and people.
Yes, yes.
So what would you say has been one of the most impactful parts of the community projects that has really kind of grabbed your attention?
I think for me, it's the children. We have gone to all 3 of the primary schools, and the love that we've gotten from the children, the change that we've seen in such a short period of time from the children is something that it never ceases to amaze me. The children are so friendly, they are willing to learn, they're willing to engage with us, they want to play with us, they want to sing with us. We were in the back of the choir singing with the St. Elizabeth class 4 students before their graduation, and so those things, maybe because I'm a child at heart, but those things really resonate with me. Yeah.
Damon, for you, why do you think it's important for us to share the very best of our communities? Because sometimes we hear things that aren't so nice, but what do you think is important, particularly through programs like this one, to share the best of what's happening in our communities?
I would say the feeling of making yourself a better person. As I said, you will get to know about the parish more, not only our parish, but different parishes. When you get into the program, you're going to learn a lot about communication skills, public speaking. So you're going to elevate yourself as a better person in the long run. You're going to meet new people, important people as well. So I would say in the long run, it's going to benefit you in terms of what you want to be in life further on.
All right, and for you, Miss Margot, you know, what would be your best advice for people looking on about being able to engage in this manner within your respective communities?
I would say go into the community, go into the churches, meet with the parishioners there, but most of all, embrace the elderly. Let them know that they're not forgotten. And we will always be there for them. And that's what we do.
All right, I love that. All right, so I made everybody who came on play a little game. This morning, yours will be a little different. All right? So, we want to educate the rest of Barbados about St. Joseph. I'm sure people made tons of jokes about St. Joseph. Oh, you from behind the Lord back. How far is that? Did you leave home 12 hours ago to reach here? All that, right?
Yes.
Yeah? I will be no different. I'm kidding. I won't do that. But you have to educate us about places in St. Joseph that are little heard of, that we might not know. So you can't tell us places that we know. When people think St. Joseph, they automatically say places like Horse Hill, Bathsheba. Nope, you can't say those places.
Okay.
So little heard of places, and we're going to do it in a round robin. So I'm going to go to each of you, and the first person to miss a beat or say an is out.
Okay.
All right? All right, so we're going to start with Miss Margot.
Cocoa Hill Forest.
Jules River.
Coffee Lily.
Flower Forest.
You're out. Go, Damon.
Andromeda Gardens.
Hillcrest.
Tank Bay, Bathsheba.
You're out. The moment. All right, so you have to come and see the ambassadors in action. In your blue, what shade of blue is it?
Teal.
Sorry, people.
Yes,
I mean,
teal.
like they all have these very particular colors, and I never get them right. Let me write it down. Teal.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't forget it because it starts with a T. Teal is the color you need to come out in to represent for the parish of St. Joseph for the parish ambassadors Gala is coming off this Saturday, 6 o'clock at the Wilde Gymnasium. Make sure you come out and support the team. Will you guys be bringing some people from your community down as well? I know some parishes have buses and bus loads of people and so on. No?
Of course we will.
You will?
Of course.
Where are the buses boarding, Miss Margot?
All over Bishop.
All over St. Joseph.
Mhm.
All right, good stuff. So look out for the teal on Saturday. And of course you're going to win, right?
Of course.
I'm going to be backing you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I told that to everybody. All right, so thank you so much, Damon, Jade, and of course, Miss Margot, for coming in and sharing with us. And a special good morning to everyone from the committee looking on. I know it takes a team effort to be able to make it happen. All right, so a little bit earlier, we were talking about kind of letting your hair down, letting your shoulders down, and relaxing. Coming up, we have a fantastic way for you to do that. And we have loads of other things coming your way on Morning Barbados as well. So stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew. When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Motley has called on leaders attending the ongoing United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP29, in Azerbaijan to commit to new collective goals that will enable states to reverse the current trajectory of climate change. While delivering Barbados' national statements at the World Leaders Climate Action Summit, she warned the planet is hurling towards catastrophe. The Barbadian leader put forward 7 critical elements which she says can assist. They include the proper capitalization of the Loss and Damage Fund and a dedicated SIDS window in the Global Environment Facility, GEF's Special Climate Change Fund.
The latter remains unfunded, and the first underfunded. The reality is that the Loss and Damage Fund has only attracted $700 million, and this is despite the numerous crises besetting small island developing states, and indeed in our own region, Hurricane Beryl, which has caused serious damage to countries, from housing to public infrastructure, and indeed from agriculture to fisheries in my own country.
Now, Ms. Motley again made the case for developing countries to have access to cheaper, longer-term capital and urgently needed financial reforms. Rich countries were also encouraged to deliver on their commitments. She also reiterated a call for a universal carbon pricing mechanism and a global methane agreement.
We need to deal with methane. Methane is responsible for 45% of current global warming and is 80 times as devilish as CO2 with respect to warming the planet. This makes mitigation of methane the most effective way to slow the rate of warming in our world. And I trust and pray that we can have a global methane agreement, as Pope Francis led the call earlier this year for us to see a parallel track to decarbonization. Finally, we need high-integrity carbon markets to ensure that there is fairness and that we need a universal carbon pricing mechanism to remove the disparity between countries in the North and South.
Destination with early forward bookings from major source markets exceeding 2023 figures by over 9%. That's according to the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association. Rachel Agard reports.
The United States has surpassed the United Kingdom as Barbados' biggest source market, increasing by some 24%. At the end of September, arrivals recorded were just over 170,000 compared to nearly 129,000 for the same period last year. And according to Chairman of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Javon Griffith, this is heavily in part to increased airlift out of the USA.
We would have had JetBlue doubling their flights from New York. We would have had them tripling their flights from Boston, Logan. We would have then had Frontier starting flights to Barbados from San Juan, Puerto Rico, 3 days a week. We would have had American Airlines taking our Miami services back to 3 flights a day. We would have had American Airlines making Charlotte a daily service into Barbados. We then had American Airlines relaunch New York JFK on November 5th. Now that is also a daily service which will be year-round. That alone adds 5,332 seats a month from New York.
There has also been an increase in CARICOM arrivals, with a new service set to begin on Friday by Win Air, with flights out of St. Martin, Martinique, St. Lucia, and Dominica.
You have Caribbean Airlines actively adding new routes into Barbados, incrementally across the region. You would have had an expansion of airlift from into Caribbean. For example, they added Kingston, Jamaica twice a week with a larger aircraft. They would have increased services to Antigua, increased services to Grenada. Another big contributing factor is Virgin Atlantic. They operate a tag service into Barbados from London Heathrow, which goes on to Grenada 3 days a week and on to St. Vincent 3 days a week. And persons are able to purchase tickets between Barbados and those islands in both directions. So they've also added capacity within the region.
BHTA's Chief Executive Officer, Ryan Ford, says there is a lot property owners can do on site to enhance local attractions for visitors. He also suggests there is a market for ecotourism, particularly on the East Coast, including creating an underwater museum.
It has nothing to do with building any infrastructure, but teaching persons about the permaculture and all those different areas that you can specialize in, because you will get travelers coming from the educational standpoint, which you will come from the university and colleges that want to learn a little bit more of what you have to offer here. You can also dive into the agriculture side as well too, obviously through that being an avenue. You have one of our members, Local & Co. They do a lot of work on that avenue, partnered with Wired, which is down by Walker's Reserve.
Mr. Ford says this will all add to Barbados' diversity. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Data analysis will play a key role if Barbados is to stem the rising tide of crime. This view has been expressed by Attorney General Dale Marshall at the launch of a crime report led by Senior Research Officer in the Criminal Justice Research and Planning Unit, Kim Ramsey. Again, our Rachel Agard files this report.
It is time for those tasked with crime fighting to look at the statistics in a different light. So says Attorney General Dale Marshall, who suggests in addition to the societal statistics, a report now needs to be generated on dysfunctional families and domestic violence and their contribution to crime.
And in the context of looking at dysfunctional families, we have to look at domestic violence, because young people see what young people learn what they see, and there's an old saying that hurt people hurt people. I'm sure that the police will tell you that there are some households in Barbados where children during COVID were going to school online. So they were sitting at the living room table with their computers on. And on the other side of the living room of that computer would have been a big brother, a cousin, an uncle, a father or a mother cutting up weed to sell.
Mr. Marshall says already for the year, 9 people under 21 have been charged with murder, 3 of them under the age of 18. And he says there is a tremendous opportunity in Barbados to turn some of these situations around as government continues to play its part.
When we talk about crime, when we talk about the criminal justice system, I want to ask you, please, to stop focusing so much on what the police do, because the police only get called in after it happens. I want you to stop focusing so much on what the government does. We've provided more resources for the police service than ever in its history. They're a better equipped police force and police service now than they ever were.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Irwin Boyce says there needs to be a collaborative effort in the fight against crime. He notes it has changed over time with new and emerging threats, including cybercrimes.
So we are seeing a different range of offenses. And while we are seeing a different range of offenses, we are also seeing a different type of violence in our society. And the violence in our society is predicated upon a simple word, and in most instances, the word is disrespect. We are seeing a level of violence coming out of that word, disrespect.
Mr. Boyce says research will be critical for the police service as evidence-based approaches are what inform policy and strategy. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Well, let's take a quick look at sports. All-rounder Shamar Springer and pacer Alzari Joseph have been drafted into the West Indies T20 squad for the St. Lucia leg of their rivalry series against England. Springer replaces Andre Russell, who has been ruled out due to a left ankle sprain sustained during the opening T20 at Kensington Oval on Saturday, while Alzari Joseph, having completed a 2-match suspension, rejoined the squad for Shamar Joseph.
It's always a blow, to replace somebody like Andre Russell. Very experienced. He brings 2 assets, bowling and batting, and also with his fielding. So it's always hard to replace him. We have young Shamar Springer, who made his debut in Sri Lanka, to replace him. Exciting young prospect. Shamar going and get ready for the Test series, and obviously Alzari Joseph is back from his suspension, and we're looking forward to welcoming him and the experience he brings in the squad. So yes, we lose 2 key guys, but we get 2 guys who are capable of doing the job for the team as well.
Now the West Indies currently trail in the 5-match series 2-0. The must-win 3rd T20 for the Windies is set for tomorrow. And that's it for our news at this time. Remember, we have a full package coming your way during Newsday at 12 noon here on TV8. Or if you're on the move, tune into our radio stations 98.1 The One, 94.7 FM, or Q100.7 FM for the CBC News World at 1. It's time for another break here on Morning Barbados, but we have a lot more coming up, so please stick around.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now, that's a brief idea of what you can expect when you head on into Bamboo Retreat for something called a Sparty. But there's so many other things that can happen when you make your trek to the beautiful, pristine premises. Welcoming now CEO and Master Therapist at Bamboo Retreat, Steve Andrews. It's always good to have you with us here on Morning Barbados.
Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here. And when we're here to talk about pampering yourself, taking care of oneself, it's such an important thing that we tend to take it for granted. And that's why we have created such a beautiful space that person can come and really get away from the hustles of life. Life is hard. Life is just miserable. Life is so it's really a space that we created for persons that want to get away. Is one of the most unique spot that you will find in terms of the spa environment in Barbados, and it's where people come. You know, when you can walk into a space and immediately you feel relaxed. That's what happened when you come to the Bamboo
Just
Retreat.
looking at that video, I could see. So let's list off the services that are available, because that was an example of, as I mentioned, what we call a Sparty. So, you know, outside of just having your traditional party, you can get your friends together or family and come in and get a range of services.
Yes, what we are launching, and since this month is a month of independence, it's like birthday month, what we are launching is what we call the birthday spas. Is where you come in, you can bring your friend, you can come by yourself, you can bring a friend, you can bring a group of people, you just come and you have the whole facilities that you can just relax and be pampered. That's what we're working on. We do from massage, we do manicures, we do pedicures, we have a sauna, we do facials, we do body wraps, we do body scrub, we have a hot tub, and of course we have a pool, have garden that you can sit around, you can have lunch, whatever. It just come into an environment for your day, your special day, and really enjoy what we really pamper oneself.
For some people who might not have an entire day to come in and taking all of these services, is it a situation where we can call in and have something tailored, especially for the individual or the group?
Yes, we have from 1 hour up to a full day. So what you do, the first thing you do is give us a call. You know, it's 436-9405 or 233-3104. You can go to our website as well, and you can tailor-made your own package that you want to be a part. We give you ideas, but not necessarily that's what we want you to do. You want, because a lot of people know what they want. There are some people that don't know what they want, because a lot of people call me and said, I'll call us and said, can we have a birthday package? And yes, we have certain birthday package that is fixed. Like this month's special for birthdays is massage, body scrub, and hot tub. Though this is a month special, is on the, I think it's $2.99, and so that's just an idea from us. But you can decide what you want as a person, what you're thinking about, and we have up to 25% discount if you come on your birthday. So we make sure that when you come on your birthday, we treat you special. In fact, when you walk in, you'll see the sign that said "Happy Birthday."
Well, don't move too quickly past that. You come on your birthday, and you get 25% discount.
You get up to 25%.
Up to 25% discount. That's major.
Yes.
What are some of the most heavily requested services?
I think body scrub, massage, or like this month's package, body scrub, massage, and the hot tub. Because a lot of people don't understand body scrub. I mean, they do facial scrub, but the same thing, the body creates dead skin cells. And when, in fact, our body scrub is so awesome that when I do it, my hands just feel like silk when they finish. So imagine how the body feels. It's like a renewal of the body. And then we give our signature massage after that. Is one of the most beautiful experience that one can think about or one can have. Another package, what we call the huge roll, which is mani-pedi massage. That's also another popular service. One of the things that we do a lot now is our facial. Lots of people don't know we do facial, which is strange. We were doing facial almost 30 years now. And that's something that we're really trying to get out there, that we do facial. In fact, we don't do facial, we do skincare. When someone comes to us, we can help you to maintain oneself or one's skin. We are not one where we use a lot of harsh products, because we don't do a lot of strong peels or anything like that. We only peel or put on a peel if you really, really need it. But what we do, we try to not help you, because one of the things I have learned by going to conferences over and over, we cannot stop you from aging, but we can help you to age beautiful. So these are things that we work on to make sure that you have beautiful treatment when you come to the Bamboo Retreat. All
right, so off to the side, before we went on air, you told me you're moving your neck slowly. How do we know that it's time to get into rejuvenation mode and maybe, you know, get a little bit of relaxation, do a little bit of pampering, but it also kind of ties into overall health as well?
Well, I look at you on camera and see that you move your neck slowly. Does that mean there's a slowdown in movement? So it meaning that those trapezius muscles in the back of their knee is tightening up, and they need those muscles to be released. So it's so many things. Like I keep saying that people get up one morning and feel some stiffness in the neck, and the first thing they put it to is that I slept bad. But it's really that you slept bad, or the body is talking to you and say, hey, you need to come and do something with this. And then 2 weeks after, and then 3 weeks after, now you cannot move your neck anymore. It's saying that those muscles become so tight that they refuse to move. And that's what we do. We fix those things. And we find ways or find solutions of how to fix those things in the body. So it's really a renewal of your body when you come to us. I mean,
generally, what can massage do for the body in terms of health and otherwise? If we can kind of give a broad overview, just something really broad about how it can tie into overall health.
The massage is, to make it simple, when you have a massage, a good massage is like cleansing the body from within. That makes sense? If you have a good massage, it's like cleansing the body from within. It touches every single major organs in the body. It works on the lymphatics, major system. It works on the lymphatic system, it works on the circular system, it works on the muscular system, it works on the skeleton, it works on, it fixes the entire body. So when you have a massage, it's like, I always tell people, having a massage once a month is like paying an insurance to prevent the body from going to certain. So we pay medical insurance for when we're sick, and sometimes we don't have access to it. Now, having massages can help you, prevent you from getting to that space, because what it does, it cleanses the body. It gives the immune system room to work, room to fight anything that coming into contact with it. It really helps us to actually flush all of that waste from out of our body. And that's the power of massage. It's just that a lot of us don't understand it. And I mean, a lot of people just see it as it's not just a good feel. It's tremendous benefit you can get from a massage. But 5 minutes, we can't really dive into it in this interview. It's too short for it.
Yeah, I keep telling you, we have to come up and film things and experience things for our own selves. Right, Peter? Yeah, Peter was watching that video. He was really excited to come and experience the services. Of course, you know, the girls on camera gave him a little motivation. He's going to have to bring the wife on down and enjoy. So remember, you will immediately be immersed in the laid-back atmosphere that reflects the bamboo retreat aesthetic. Go on through and pamper yourself a little and free yourself with a full body massage, hand and foot massage, facials, waxing, manicure, pedicure, body treatments. There's a sauna, there's a hot tub, the pool is there, and a whole lot more. Full spa services, and you can also have lunch while you're there.
You can have lunch while you're there. So, and also before we go, our beach hut is up and running. The only place in Barbados you can have a legal massage on the beach is at Rocky Beach.
A legal massage on the beach?
Yes.
Don't touch it, Tisha. Bamboo Retreat is the place to go. Thank you, Master Therapist and CEO Steve Andrews. Always fantastic to have you come in.
It's always a pleasure.
My brain is all over the place. I really need to take a break. Plus, the birthday is coming up, so who knows. The address is Walker's Terrace, number 19, St. George. You won't be disappointed. Call them at 436-9405 or 233-3204. And, of course, the website is thebambooretreat.com. Facebook, Soothing Touch the Spa. Instagram at Soothing Touch. And they're open Mondays to Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You have no excuses. Make it happen. Thank you so much, Steve. Stick around. We have lots more coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, Guardian General Insurance Limited, and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action. Brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, it's 7:30 in the land. You're tuned to Morning Barbados. Thank you so much for tuning in, welcoming us into your home, and of course sharing with us. I have to say a special good morning and welcome back to my mother-in-law. She left me for almost a year, but she's back. Yay, I have lots of work for you to do. Good morning, Sandra. I have to say a special good morning as well to all of the people who have made the National Senior Men's Squad. The announcement has been made, and we are really excited to have management in the form of head coach Kent Hall joining us again this morning to talk a little bit about the matches coming up, particularly the first one on Friday of this week. And we're also joined by Ricardo Morris, who's one of the players. So congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's start with you, Kent. It must be a real honor. We heard a little earlier, a few months ago, that you were named head coach. What did that mean for you to be able to kind of turn around and in quick order be able to make sure that we had the best players moving forward for these matches that are coming up against Guyana this month and beyond?
Yeah, again, it's a privilege to work with these boys. They're really, really good, and just a joy to have their support and their collaboration on the project. And yeah, an honor to be able to represent the country. So we're reveling in that, and so far so good. Last time we were here, we were going into the October match window in a good position, trying to finish a particular job, and pleased to say we did that. So we topped our League C group, won all 4 matches, so we were promoted to League B, and now we're on to the next objective, which is to try to secure a position in the Gold Cup prelims, which will be a big deal for us. And again, we continue to dream. If we can go even one step further, that will put us in the Gold Cup for the first time ever. And that is the biggest competition for our region. So yeah, rearing and ready to go this Friday, 7 p.m. at the BFA Technical Center in Wilde. We're taking on Guyana. We hope that you and everybody else is going to be there. Wear a yellow shirt.
That goes without saying, man. I'm out to all when it comes to Barbados. You must be really, really excited, Ricardo, to be able to make this team. Yeah, talk to me about your background in football.
Well, my background started maybe 6, 7 years old. But I also find myself playing professional football for 3 years. 2 years in 3 years in the States and 1 in New Zealand as well. I have 4-year international cap, so it's not my first rodeo. Pretty much a veteran now. My experience goes a long way, so with this youthful team, I think my experience goes a long way to show the boys and the younger boys how to play after they go. So I think going far now is being a role model now for the youngsters now will be good.
Good stuff. Let's build on what Ricardo said about having a great mix of maybe a little experience with some more of the youthful players. What was the whole aim going into the selection process to make sure that you had a team who were able to compete and deliver, which is what you said before? Right.
Yeah, so obviously you have a way that you want to play, and you try to find players that we think fit that, and it's based very much on how we see Barbados football play and how we've seen it play over decades now. So persons like Ricardo also have that experience of knowing what the international environment is like, and it's very different. The level is much higher than the domestic competition, but when you watch anything from a distance, it looks slow, right? You see the same way that planes appear to hover in the air. When you watch them flying from far away, it's only when you get up close and you have that first-hand experience you realize just how quick the game is and how physical it is. And so having players like him as part of the squad goes a long way to help younger players who are coming into it be able to bridge that gap. They're able to have those conversations that help them understand what that challenge is like and how to maybe work their way around a challenge while they build up to be able to cope with it as a norm.
How important do you think it is for the guys, whether they're selected or not, to be able to get in a lot of play with teams, not only here on island, but outside of the island, to spread their wings and get that experience they need to put them in a position to really compete credibly?
Well, I believe the younger group now is going the right path, which is the college path in the USA. So that gives us great opportunity to use them as a coach to get them to come back for a few international games, maybe in the future some friendly games as well. So going forward, I think the college route may be the best route, because the professional route, only a few will get there. But through the college route now, it'd be easier to access, because the states have like maybe 4 tiers of professional level football. So if you're good enough at college, then that's where you go on to compete, and then it's easier to go to trials from state to state in the US as well. So I think going forward, that's the route to go.
Playing on home soil makes a big difference. You talked to me about coming out in my national colors. That's absolutely no joke. What does it mean to the team to be able to play first game here in Barbados?
That's huge. We really enjoyed the last 2 matches we played here. We got tremendous support. We hope to get even more this time. We know, again, in more recent history, results hadn't been as favorable, but the number of people that have come, that I've run into along the way, that have expressed how pleased they were with how the team played, was refreshing to me to hear, and a real credit to the boys, because their performances have been exceptional, and they're really committed to wearing the Tridents label, and they take a lot of pride in getting out there. And so again, having that opportunity straight off to set the tone in this matchup is going to be, I think it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I'm just excited about getting it going, you know.
Good stuff. I'm sure you've done your research on Guyana. What do you think are your chances against that team?
I believe they're going to get over them here. I think this is a great opportunity for the nation, and also would like the Barbados to come out and support the boys. We're the royal goal, please. We would need the support, because I guarantee the Guyanese is going to come to support.
I know they're going to be out in their numbers. I don't have to ask you. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I heard about this game from my Guyanese cousin.
Oh, dear. There you go. There you go. But I think if we could get the support behind us, I think we got the team that we could go far away and go a very long way this time. I believe this is the team that could bring history for Barbados football now. And I think we just need the support now from the Barbados, and maybe the government as well would be nice.
All right, good stuff. Call to action, people. From head coach.
Yeah.
Your chance against Guyana.
Again, we've been doing our research, we're doing our homework. What we were able to do in the previous round gave us, in theory, on paper, the best possible matchup. And we think they obviously come into it from playing at a higher level than us. But we don't think we're so far off it, and we can go there and we can give absolutely everything we have to give us every chance of progressing.
What part of this is what's going on in your head? What part of this game performance for you specifically is the mind and conditioning?
Well, football is Friday, so my mind is so far away from the game right now. It's just to prepare for the game. So I like to go into the game with a free mind. So I don't be overthinking. I don't want to be overthinking, I should say, to go into a game. I don't know what to expect. So I go maybe day by day. So on game day now is when I really refocus and maybe play some cards, and those take my mind away from the game. So right now I'm just with cardio Morse right now.
With that said, from your perspective, how important is it to get that conditioning right? Because there can be a lot of pressure playing at home as well.
For sure.
A tremendous pressure that you might not feel away. And most certainly if you're on the cusp of doing something that's not been done before, that can be some added pressure too.
100%. So he's calm and relaxed because he just said he's done this 48 times already, you know. So for a player that's not as seasoned, you still feel those nerves. But part of it is learning how to deal with that. And more than anything, to have that belief. And I 100% believe in these boys, and I see now that they believe in themselves because they've demonstrated it. So yeah, probably on game day they're going to be a little bit of nerves, and different people will handle it in different way. But bottom line is, whatever, I know they're going to give 100%, and that's all we can ever ask for, and that's going to be good enough.
Do you get some butterflies too? He doesn't want to tell us, Ricardo, but I think
let's put it this way. This is a bigger step than we've taken before, so I fully expect that at a certain point I may start to feel a little bit of tension. But at the end of the day, I think it's really important to just know that it's about applying the best that you have to do, and that has to be enough, you know. As long as you're sticking by your principles and doing what you think is right, then everything else has to take care of itself. Football and any other sport, you know, like it's not like Guyana aren't going to be playing a match, you know. So they have every right, as we do, to get a result. So we just do our bit and hope that things work out in our favor.
All right, so lay out the path to the CONCACAF Gold Cup prelims. After this, what next? What next? What are we working toward?
Right, so we play the home and away against Guyana, and the winner on what we call aggregate is going to be the one who advances. You know when I'll get nervous? If it's tight on aggregate and we gotta go to penalties in Guyana, then yeah, I hope the camera doesn't look at me. I'll be crying or something. No. But after that, then we go into the Gold Cup prelims, and it's inevitable it will be a matchup against one of the regional heavyweights. And I'm talking about probably Jamaica, USA. So it's going to be a massive match regardless of where we end up, but that's going to be in and of itself a huge experience for us. And again, it's a one-off chance to go a step further, and you know, as the old saying goes, football is played on the day, and we're looking forward to the day.
I mean, Ricardo said it. He said today's Wednesday. That's Friday. It's years away. It's many light years away. I'm not thinking about that. I'll be playing cards until then. But congratulations, Ricardo, on making the team. And thank you so much, head coach Kent Hall, for coming in this morning and reminding us we need to come out in our gold and represent for the Barbados team, the national senior men's squad, representing for the Trident this coming Friday. The match gets started at 7 o'clock. So outside it's going to be nice and cool. You don't have to worry about that. CONCACAF Nations League, the Barbados boys versus Guyana. Yes, come on, your numbers and support the team. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, time for another break, but stick around. We're heading quickly toward the 8 o'clock hour. You'll be surprised at how much we can fit into the next couple of minutes.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, Guardian General Insurance Limited, and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey!
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now, coming out of the Human Resource Management Associations of Barbados Human Tech Expo that came off earlier this year, a highly successful conference, we had an opportunity to talk to the president of HERMAB, Nicholas Roberts, about the intersect of where the usual tasks we do in the workplaces intersect with a lot of the new technology that's now coming on stream, even some of the things that we've used in the past. That is a bone of contention. It has been the topic of many a discussion. So we wanted to share that again with you this morning as we continue to explore how technology is infiltrating our workplaces. The state of human resources, the state of what's happening in workplaces, there's a lot.
A lot is going on. Yeah. So in terms of, yes, you mentioned that there's social unrest in Barbados, as we like to term it, in terms of, I know there's recent news in terms of layoffs at a major hotel in Barbados. We've recently been talking in terms of technology. On the global stage, we're also looking at in terms of how it is that we're bridging technology and we're bridging the needs of businesses, and then bring what I do at the heart of it, how human resources practitioners play a role in this. So yeah, a lot has been going on, a lot to discuss this morning.
All right, so where do we start? Let's look at how people can upskill or keep themselves kind of in step with what's going on across the globe. There may be some people, I know a lot of people kind of shrink when it comes to talking about technology. So a lot of people say with pride, oh, I can barely use my phone. The children can do it better than I can. You know, almost wear that like a badge of honor. I have a friend who still says, you know, I don't use the machines. So where do you go when that's the way the world is going in, and in particular the work world, and you're in a place where you might not be as savvy as you need to be?
I think you need to understand where people are and meet people where they're at. And I think also the biggest part of it is that a lot of people are afraid of the technology because they understand that, quite frankly, the machines and the AI and the technology can do things better than we can do as humans. I was discussing with a colleague up to this week that, you know, that a machine literally can do something in a nanosecond that it takes us sometimes years to learn and to do. So people probably realize that, you know what, I don't like using technology because it can do something that I can do 10 times better or even more. And it makes people a bit uncomfortable, and even bring it even more so home. I was in the credit union last week. I went to collect my credit union card, and I was talking to an older gentleman, and he was telling me, I don't like using them machine things. And in his mind is because when he puts his card in the machine, he doesn't know where the card is going. Using the machine is a bit, intimidating for him. So, we may smile and we may giggle at something as simple as using an ATM machine, but there are persons within the society, mature persons, and even younger persons that, that technology and everything that comes with it makes them a bit uncomfortable because of the realities of what it brings for us as human beings, both in a professional sense and within our personal lives.
I remember, I'm old enough to remember when people were moving away from, or the banks were phasing out the use of the little red book in the bank where you kind of had to write in it, and moving more toward the ATM cards. And I remember conversations, particularly on the call-in programs, being, people were like, how do I know what's on my card? How do I check? So to be able to even grasp that a few years ago, it was challenging. We've now moved to a place where I think people generally understand, you have to use ATM cards. Outside of that, there are still some people who are insistent in going in. But the way of the world generally is toward technology, is toward that digital space, even with digital money.
So everything Hermab has done over the last year and a half since they took over the presidency has been intentional. So in terms of, if you look back, the type of topics that we've discussed on this program, whether it's whether it is my vice president, whether it's any of our strategic partners that have come on and have represented the association or worked with the association, we've talked about something leaning either directly to AI technology within the human capital space. And the reason for that is because once again, we look at the global sphere, what is going on in terms of work, what is going on in terms of business. You have to look at bridging the two. There's no two ways about it. So a lot of people have still the very humanist approach in terms of we don't need the technology. Humans are the ones that should solely be within the workplace. And then we have people that are on the other side of the spectrum that believe that, maybe we need to replace the majority of people within the workplace and use robots and use AI and use technology. But I, as a human resources practitioner, and people that are forward thinking and right thinking, we know that we have to work in tandem with the technology, not just within the workspace, within our personal lives. So I always like to make things very relatable. Even within your home space, you can go on Amazon and you can buy something as simple as a bot to vacuum your home for you. Once upon a time, you could hire a cleaner to come in and do that for you. So that is a job that has been displaced, because literally you can buy a bot for X amount of dollars from Amazon or wherever, and the bot can come in and it has the technology built into it that it can go into different spaces within your home. It knows where steps are. It knows what area of your house that you want cleaned, how you want it to be cleaned, etc., etc. How is it that, yes, humans can be displaced, but as opposed to displacing humans, what jobs should we keep and what jobs should be done by technology, should be done by a bot, should be done by AI? Because I think within the Caribbean, we need to take a very socialist and a very humanist approach. Because the reality is that, as I mentioned earlier on in our conversation, there are a lot of jobs and there are a lot of roles that can be done by the bots better than us. But we as a society have to then determine what is it that can be utilized or can be done better by the bots, and then what are the jobs that we're going to retain with human beings doing those jobs and those roles and those functions. People also don't still understand within a 2024 age or a 21st century age, what is human resources practitioners do. So not trying to bore people, because I know HR is not sexy to some people, but when you look at the sphere and the gamut of HR, benefits administration, human capital change management, when you look at business process reengineering, when you look at strategic change management, when you look at once again, bridging AI and HR within your workspaces. How is it that you're performance managing your employees? We've discussed this many different times. People that have been leading or managing for many years find it very, very difficult to have difficult conversations within business spaces. Sometimes it is even difficult for HR practitioners to have difficult conversations within businesses because the type of environments that they operate within. So performance management is still a very, very topical, and it will continue to be a very topical theme or area within HR, because you need to understand how it is that you need to manage people, but not only manage people, give constructive criticism in order to coach and guide them to do better.
What about the changing face of HR itself? Because, as you mentioned, the profession has changed. The scope of what you do, what is expected of you, what's needed from employees, it has changed drastically in the last couple of years. Again, I've been around to see it move from really the personnel section or the personnel department to human resources to all types of fancy names that we hear about now, people management and all of this. So what will you do to kind of tackle the profession itself and to ensure that the profession, stays important to the business environment, given what AI systems can now do?
So I think it is important for us to, first of all, understand what is HR. The crux of it, we need to get down to that. What is HR, especially bringing AI into the workspace? Human resources, at the heart of it, is dealing with the management of people to get the most outcomes of those people to achieve the business outcomes. That is what any HR textbook is going to tell you what human resources is. Bringing what I always like to say, the humanist or the socialist approach to HR is that you look and realize that that HR is a very touch and feel type of role or touch and feel type of strategic position that you should have within your business. And the reason that I keep saying strategic and I keep saying touch and feel is because I don't want people or HR practitioners to think that because AI is coming into the workspace that we need to take away the touch and feel aspects of the business. Once upon a time, an HR person would go into a business, their role would be to come in, oh, you good? Yeah, you good? You need, find out from business practitioners, do you need to fire this person? Yeah, I'm going to fire you. But no, that's not what the role is now. What HR is in 2024 and beyond is, okay, what type of business are you running? What is it that you need from your people? How are you hiring those people in the correct way? How are you training those people? I, as an HR practitioner, need to understand how it is that when AI and technology come into my workspace, how is it going to displace people? Those people that are being displaced, how are we going to train up the people that are remaining within the business to fill those gaps? So it is understanding what it is that the business requires, training our HR practitioners to meet those gaps, training the people to meet the needs of the business, and then once again understanding what it is that the roles that AI can do and what are the roles that your people can do, and working with the business to meld the two. And it's going to be a very gentle balance because there's so much that comes with that on a day-to-day basis that, aside from understanding the strategic needs of a business, that you still once again have to have the touch and feel, because people are dealing with everyday problems. I always say that when people come into a workspace, they bring any issue that they have. So if it is that you are not, let's say that that, for instance, you have an ailing parent at home, when you come into the workspace, you're not going to be necessarily thinking 100% about the work that you have to do. You're going to be bringing that with you. So then how are we providing, as an example, EAP programs to assist people with the personal issues that they're having? So I don't want it to be a case that we as HR practitioners look to be just strategic. Yes, being strategic is very important, but at the end of the day, the heart of what we do is about people. So how are we servicing the needs of the people through understanding the needs of the business?
EAP, employee assistance programs,
yes.
Just to make sure that everybody's kind of on board with us with that. All very, very important to be able to get us where we need to go in terms of HR. You mentioned a little bit earlier about some maybe older HR professionals not feeling comfortable with those difficult conversations. And now we know, we've seen online, we've seen so many companies that have kind of come under fire for bringing technology into the process of even, getting rid of your employees. So how do you strike that delicate balance where you might be able to use technology in some ways to foster those difficult conversations, but you don't get it to the place where you feel like this is an episode of RoboCop? Yeah? I think that is important as well. So that, of course, is a discussion that we had with Nicholas Roberts. We will continue those discussions as the weeks and months go on. So that's it for the show today. Thank you for joining us. Well, coming up tomorrow, we have a grand show planned for you. You're going to get a chance to see the young people who were here yesterday, but who we didn't get to put on air because the electricity went off. So the winners of the pontifications and poetry competition, we'll speak to them. Also coming up tomorrow, the Kiwanis Club Common Entrance Program is upon us. We'll tell you more about that. The Barbados Diabetes Foundation will be in as we look toward World Diabetes Day, and the BHTA Barbados National Culinary Team representing A Taste of the Caribbean have been named. We've had an opportunity to talk to many of them, and we're going to continue that discussion tomorrow. On behalf of the entire team, I want to thank you for spending the last 2 hours with us, and we invite you to stay tuned to TV8 as we continue to share all about our community and beyond. I'm Tisha Hines. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning.